You have an organization that prides itself on the hunt, then you take the best tool that there is at hunting, and that is a dog. And you teach that dog ideally how to hunt, but you teach them not to hunt individually, but to hunt with a team.
Change in speed.
If you took a special operations dog and you took a patrol SWAT dog and you kind of mesh them, we built this hybrid canine.
It looks great when you get the finished product. Nobody really sees what it takes because you have to be so consistent, so willing to sacrifice time and effort into getting, these dogs to do exactly what you need them to do.
If any program or any agency out there should be having tactical canines, it would be the United States Marshals Service. Our agency tracks and apprehends the most violent fugitives across the nation.
Deputy Jesse Vargas shot and killed while serving a warrant yesterday. That triggered a massive 6-hour manhunt. That's when Rocky, a canine officer with the U.S. Marshals Office, alerted authorities to a dumpster where Davis was hiding inside. Davis allegedly shot Rocky twice, and 4 U.S. Marshals deputies returned fire, killing Davis.
This program was made for officer safety. It's hard, right? Because he ultimately was going to give his life for us. He took those rounds so we didn't have to, because we would have cleared that ourselves had we not had him. He definitely saved our lives that day.
He's a hero, right? The dog is the hero. And I don't know how many officers he saved, but he did.
I was a young handler, and I was told every time I go out to work, you can't have a social dog that can actually perform on the street. And that's just not true. The big thing about what we do, I think, is a little bit different than a lot of people do, is we start off, our foundational work involves pack mentality.
Sociability to us is first and foremost. How hard a dog bites, how fast he chases somebody are secondary to me. Come on.
Very, very friendly and social. This is by no means every dog, and very few of the dogs, in fact. But again, we train to the team standard.
Muzzle.
There you go. Perfect. Like he'll bite a guy and then go cuddle him in the hospital bed. It's like, it's just business, man.
My thought when we started this program was, we've got to integrate them into the home. We've got to integrate them because it's better for the dog, it's better for our family, and it makes a much more balanced dog when you have them out on the street. And so just the ability to have them regulate themselves and understand socially what is in play, what's not in play, is amazing. For us, it only increases their sociability, increases their environmental understanding, and we do a very good job on the front end in selecting the right dog for the right job.
Unlike a patrol canine handler, we're not on the highway by ourselves. We work in a team environment, whether it's a task force team or a special operations group. We're always with people, so we need our dogs to be super neutral. I would say that our dogs are true team dogs. They're neutral to all our guys. Everybody is part of his team, his pack. They can deploy him as well, right? They can redirect him. All our dogs can be redirected by team members to spots. Maybe there's a spot as a handler I don't see what another operator sees, and they need the dog to go check it before they go check it. They can call our dogs and send our dogs past them into that area to go search it first before we put any people into that area.
Well, our goal is to show people what these dogs are capable of and what dogs in general can do. We want them to engage as a part of our family.
U.S. Marshals Service K-9, speak to me now. I will send the dog. He will find you.
The uniqueness of this program more than any else, when you get into this level, we have equipment that isn't typically issued to other agencies. And it's not because it's restricted to us, it's because it's just so costly. So that in itself, just the equipment that we use gives us uniqueness. Uniqueness also comes from Kevin's background in the Navy, comes from my background in the law enforcement side and in the sports side.
I was lucky enough to work with the SEAL teams, and what they wanted was, and everybody wanted it, I mean, even police departments wanted a SWAT dog. We were able to really fine-tune exactly what we knew could be the recipe to give somebody what they're actually looking for.
So the dog is just not out there trained to just bite. They're trained to track. They're trained to vehicle containments, open air containments, building searches, patrol movements. They've been developed to understand what their job is. That's why when a team is stacked at a door, they've seen that site 1,000 or more times. They know, all right, team, cool, dad does announcements, he sends me, and I do my job.
Wow, that nose is in gear.
And the way they alert is they lay down and they're passive.
We don't want any noise out of the dogs. They must be absolutely quiet at all times, unless for some reason the handler asks him to become vocal. For all intents and purposes, our dogs must be quiet. So when they make an indication on the door, they lay down. It's always to your advantage if the suspect doesn't know that you've made a locate on them.
They go straight down the hallway.
We increase that officer's safety by being as quiet as possible, but I think it's the closest thing we have to locating a person without being right on top of that person. Especially if the door is closed and the dog can't get to them, they're gonna show us that behavior that we need to make that informed decision from a distance.
All right, come out, let me see you, keep your heads up.
Versus being at that door, opening it, and then reacting. So the dog gives us the ability to, again, make decisions from a distance and from a position of advantage.
All right, you guys got him?
You can't reason with a canine coming in. I talk about buy-in, yeah, the criminals buy in too. You know, you can bluff us all day long, but you can't reason with the canine. And they understand that, and nobody wants to be the guy to get bit.
These dogs provide a presence that some people will just, it'll be deterrence alone.
Just the presence of the animals themselves provides such a secure environment, safety for the public and safety for the officers. Nobody gets injured. It was just their presence that created a safer environment.
Out of those 1,100 cases where our dogs supported last year, only 1.4% of those ended up in having to use the dog to apprehend or bite someone and hold them. And so for us to have 1.4% out of 1,100 cases where our dogs take immediate action against a threat, I mean, that's unheard of.
It definitely has changed the culture of the agency for sure, dating back to 2016 until now. There's people surrendering when I'm en route to a call. There's people surrendering during canine announcements. There's people surrendering by mere physical appearance of the dogs.
You are gonna get bit! Step outside! Right there, it's your hands!
So it is a tool not only that is officer safety, but allows us to de-escalate situations, but also too, if there's a need to deploy the dog inside the structure, then we will.
Here!
Off. What's the importance of the decoys in the program?
Very invaluable. The decoys develop the dogs. They grapple with them. It's like having a friend that you used to wrestle with when you were a kid. You get out there and you have a blast rolling around the yard with each other, and he gets that drive built up. We do it correctly. We form the grips correctly. We take a lot of pride in teaching our decoys how to actually work the dogs and stay safe and stay safe with the dog. We don't want a dog injured in a training evolution.
Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Get on the ground!
So being a decoy is critical for the dogs. What we're looking for is to prevent injuries, especially when they bite. So our job is to put them at the right spot. It's fun. It's challenging. The beginning is kind of nerve-wracking, but eventually once you get to know them, it's a bonding process between the dog and of course the decoy. So extra protection, obviously, and because they train to bite between the elbow and the shoulder. Another place where we put the dog is by the front portion of our bodies, by the chest area. And then obviously they're trained to bite lower body, so the legs. Those are the main parts: back, chest, and legs. Obviously they gotta find people under floors, they gotta do high searches, up in ceilings. So it's a combination of everything. They have to challenge these dogs. It's like a mutual process in which everybody's learning. The decoys, the dogs, and of course the handlers. And so yeah, it's been a journey.
Our program is specifically designed for the United States Marshals Service and has evolved over the years to continue to get better at what we do. And what I mean by that is the ability of this program to provide a tool for men and women in law enforcement and in the Marshals Service that really does save lives. The program has done such a great job at violent reduction, specifically going after those violent offenders. Providing the tool to keep everybody safe is what we want to continue to expand.
It's a huge asset, should not be denied. It needs to be out there with each and every one of these task forces. There's literally, hundreds and hundreds of canine surrenders where if the dog wasn't there, I can pretty much guarantee you that suspect wouldn't be surrendering.
And we're trying to educate that we have this ability to provide this tool to you in many different ways. We're very unique in what we do. We're very specialized in what we do. And that's why when we have manhunts, we want to deploy.
We give them a proven product. They know that. And there's a lot of agencies, once again, out there that don't get that proven product. And I think once people see that, I just based on my short amount of time here with the Marshals now and the interactions we've had with districts and regional task force that have never had dogs before, and they're simply amazed. They had no idea the capabilities of these dogs and how social they can be, and at the same time make the apprehensions like they do.